Scary telling.
I settle back into my chair after lunch, mindlessly scrolling through Slack messages and mentions. The clock on the wall reads 1:15 p.m. and the dull hum of the air conditioning fills the room. I hear the faint sound of keyboard clacks coming from my colleagues who sit in the bullpen with me. It's supposed to encourage collaboration and creative thinking, but right now, it's just background noise. Suddenly, I hear it. A ticking sound that seems to be coming from inside my head. I assume it's the clock on the wall and try to ignore it. But the ticking continues, growing louder and more intense. My head starts to spin, and I feel nauseous and sweaty. I try to shake off the feeling, but it's no use. The ticking continues, and I feel like I'm losing control of my mind. Why is this happening to me? I start to wonder if someone has laced my water with something. I take a sip of my smart water, hoping it will help me feel better. But it only makes things worse. I feel like I've been injected with some sort of narcotic, and I struggle to stay conscious. The room starts to spin, and I can't think straight. As I look around the office, I start to notice strange things happening around me. The air conditioning has stopped working, and the once bright and lively office has become dark and eerie. The ticking sound is still there, growing louder by the second. I start to feel like I'm in a zoo, trapped and alone. The sound of keyboard clacks coming from the bullpen only intensifies my fear. I try to get up from my chair, but my body feels heavy, like it's been injected with lead. As I stumble towards the exit, I notice that the doors are chained shut from the outside. I start to panic. Why are the doors chained? What's going on? I realize that something is very wrong with this place, this company. I'm not sure what's happening to me, but I know that I need to get out of here. I glance at the clock again, but the ticking is still there, louder than ever before. I feel like I'm losing my mind, like I'm trapped in a nightmare that I can't escape from. I start to wonder if I'll ever make it out alive. The ticking sound is still there, driving me mad. I take a deep breath and try to calm myself down. The doors are chained shut from the outside, but there has to be another way out. I start to walk around the office, trying to find another exit, but everywhere I turn, the doors are either locked or chained. The air conditioning is still out, and the temperature is rising. The once bustling office is now eerily quiet, with only the sound of my footsteps echoing off the walls. The ticking sound is still there, getting louder and louder by the minute. As I walk past the cubicles, I notice that they're all empty. It's as if everyone just vanished into thin air. I start to feel like I'm being watched, like someone or something is lurking in the shadows. The ticking sound is driving me insane. It's like a constant reminder that I'm trapped here, that I might never escape. I start to feel like I'm in a zoo, like I'm being held captive. The fear is overwhelming, and I can't think straight. I try to remember how I got here, how I ended up in this nightmare. But all I can remember is settling back into my chair after lunch and feeling the ticking sound in my head. I don't know how much time has passed since then, but it feels like an eternity. As I make my way towards the break room, I notice that the vending machines are empty. It's as if no one has been here for days. The ticking sound is still there, getting louder and more intense. I start to wonder if I'm hallucinating, if this is all just a figment of my imagination. But the fear is too real, too overwhelming. I can't be imagining this. I make my way back towards the bullpen, hoping to find someone, anyone. But the desks are empty, and the sound of keyboard clacks has stopped. The ticking sound is still there, the only sound in the whole office. I start to feel like I'm losing my mind, like I'm trapped in a nightmare that I can't escape from. The fear is suffocating, and I can't think straight. I need to find a way out, but the doors are chained shut, and there's no one around to help me. I realize that I'm alone in this nightmare, that there's no one coming to save me. The ticking sound is the only thing keeping me company, a constant reminder that I'm trapped here, that I might never escape. I sit down on a chair in the bullpen, my head in my hands, trying to make sense of everything that's happening to me. The ticking sound is still there, driving me mad. I try to block it out, but it's like a constant drumbeat in my head. I take another sip of my smart water, hoping that it will help me feel better. But it only makes things worse. My head starts to spin, and I feel like I'm going to pass out. As I sit there, trying to regain my composure, I start to realize that something is very wrong with my company. The air conditioning is out, the doors are chained shut, and everyone is missing. And now, this smart water, is making me feel like I'm losing my mind. I start to wonder if someone has laced the water with something that's making me feel this way. But why would anyone do that? What's the point? The ticking sound is still there, getting louder and more intense. I try to focus on something else, but it's like a constant reminder that I'm trapped here, that I might never escape. I start to feel like my company is behind all of this, like there's something more sinister going on. I try to remember everything that's happened since I got here, but it's all a blur. As I sit there, trying to make sense of everything, I hear a sound coming from outside. It sounds like footsteps, like someone is walking around the building. I get up from my chair and start to walk towards the exit, hoping that whoever is out there can help me. But as I get closer, the sound fades away, like it was never there to begin with. I start to feel like I'm losing my mind, like I'm trapped in a nightmare that I can't escape from. The fear is suffocating, and I can't think straight. As I sit back down on the chair, I realize that I need to do something, anything, to get out of here. But what can I do? The doors are chained shut, and there's no one around to help me. I take another sip of my smart water, hoping that it will clear my head, but it only makes things worse. The ticking sound is still there, getting louder and more intense. I start to feel like my company is experimenting on me, like I'm just a lab rat in their sick game. The fear is overwhelming, and I can't think straight. I take a deep breath and try to clear my head. There has to be a way out of here, a way to escape this nightmare. As I sit there, trying to make sense of everything that's happening, I remember a conversation I had with a coworker a few weeks ago. They mentioned something about the company experimenting on their employees, but I didn't think much of it at the time. But now, as I sit here, trapped and alone, it all starts to make sense. The ticking sound, the doors chained shut, the water making me feel like I'm losing my mind, it's all part of some sick experiment. I start to dig through the files on my computer, trying to find any evidence of what's happening. It doesn't take long before I come across a folder labeled Project Z. I click on it, and my heart starts to race as I read through the files. It's worse than I ever could have imagined. The company has been conducting experiments on their employees, trying to control their thoughts and behaviors. They've been testing different drugs and chemicals, trying to find the perfect combination to create the ultimate worker. I start to feel sick to my stomach as I read through the files. How could they do this to us? How could they treat us like lab rats, like we're nothing more than machines? As I continue to dig, I come across a file labeled Subject 42. My heart sinks as I realize that's me. I've been part of their sick experiment all along. I start to panic, wondering what they've done to me, what they've made me do. I feel like I'm in a nightmare that I can't escape from. But then, something inside of me snaps. I realize that I can't let them win, that I can't let them control me anymore. I need to find a way out of here, to escape this nightmare once and for all. I start to make a plan, trying to figure out how I can break the chains on the doors, how I can get out of here. It won't be easy, but I'm determined to try. As I sit there, planning my escape, I hear a noise coming from outside. It sounds like someone is trying to break through the doors. My heart starts to race as I realize that I might not be alone in this nightmare. But as the noise grows louder, I realize that it's not someone coming to rescue me. It's something much worse. The ticking sound is still there, a constant reminder that I'm trapped here, that I'm just a lab rat in their sick game. But I won't give up. I won't let them win. I'll find a way out of here, no matter what it takes. I brace myself as the noise from outside grows louder. Whatever is out there, I know that I need to be ready to fight. I look around the room, trying to find something that I can use as a weapon. But everything is either bolted down or too heavy to move. As the noise grows louder, I start to panic. I realize that I might not make it out of here alive, that I might be trapped here forever. But then, I remember something. One of my colleagues mentioned a hidden passage that leads out of the building. It's a long shot, but it's better than waiting here for whatever is out there to find me. I start to search for the passage, tearing apart the room in my desperation. And then, I find it. A small door, hidden behind a filing cabinet. I take a deep breath and push the door open, revealing a narrow staircase that leads underground. I start to make my way down the stairs, my heart racing with every step. As I descend deeper into the darkness, I start to feel like I'm being watched. But I don't stop. I keep going, driven by the need to escape this nightmare. Finally, I reach the bottom of the stairs and find myself in a small room. There's a door on the opposite wall, and I can hear the sound of running water coming from the other side. I push open the door, and I'm greeted by the sight of a river. I've never been so relieved in my life. I start to make my way across the river, wading through the waist-high water. As I reach the other side, I turn around and see the building looming behind me. I realize that I've escaped, that I'm finally free. But then, I hear a noise coming from the building. It's the ticking sound, louder than ever before. I realize that they're still watching me, still controlling me. I start to run, knowing that I need to put as much distance between myself and the building as possible. As I run, I feel like I'm being chased, like something is following me. Finally, I reach the safety of a nearby park. I collapse onto the grass, gasping for breath. But the ticking sound is still there, a constant reminder of what I've been through. As I sit there, trying to catch my breath, I realize that I'm not the only one who's been trapped in this nightmare. There are others who are still trapped, still being controlled by the company. I know that I need to do something to help the others escape. It won't be easy, but I'm determined to try. Because no one should ever have to go through what I've been through. No one should ever have to be a lab rat in someone else's sick experiment.